Well, it's been quite a while since I've updated the hybrid tutorial sort of thing. And not only that, I've learned a little bit more about how to make mods now for all automation vehicles, and automation itself has changed with its now exporting electric components. All you have to do is go into the engine section and you can literally change this out for an electric motor controller, and then when that comes in, you go here and switch that to the electric motor, and now it's an EV! That's it! It's all done! But I have some strategies to make this into a bit of a hybrid system. The idea is I make a front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive vehicle, have the petrol motor drive here, remove the rear differential, then put a bit of code in here which allows me to call upon the electric motor, which then the electric motor goes into its own differential, which is going to go back in there. Make sense? Kind of? Usually a hybrid system will drive the same wheels, but that becomes really messy, so we're not going to be doing that version, just driving separate wheels. I think it's going to be quite easy to do. So for this ego box that I want to make, because I don't always need to make supercars, we're going to use a little eco box 3-cylinder. A 1.4 liter sounds absolutely fine. And we're going to reduce the power out of this to save as much fuel as possible. 160 kilowatts though, 106 kilowatts. Pretty good numbers, to be honest. In fact, actually, we're so easily making power, I think we might take this down to maybe something like a 1.3 liter. Or even, you know what, a 1.2. Now, I've had to bring the RPM down a lot because we really needed heavy-duty car stuff. I didn't want to go straight to Forge. That's a little bit overkill for, this puny little power plant. And with 91 kilowatts, that's 122 horsepower. But I suppose the Prius has 194, so that's a lot more than what we're making. But I'm guessing that's combined with the electric motor. Okay, fair enough. Now, even though we are going to only be driving the front wheels with the petrol motor, we are going to put all-wheel drive in to make this a little bit easier to implement some things. Namely, the thing is it's going to have an electric motor for the front and an electric motor for the rear, and that's what we're going for. Or maybe, you know what, actually, I really could just run it off of the same wheels, and when it makes its own differential, we'll just put it in for different wheels to drive. So, okay, I think that's probably the smarter way of doing it. And when all's said and done, actually, it still wants to do a fairly decent top speed. All right, can't snub it too much. Though, I can't snub that 0 to 100 being 10.3, okay, 10 seconds after the update there. That's 1980s kind of slow. Now all we gotta do is make this thing look pretty. I don't know how easy or hard this is. I've never worked with this body before. And then just to make sure that people know it's a green car, obviously you have to paint it green. I must say, especially on the side, this looks a lot like a Ford Focus, Ford Mondeo sort of looking thing. And one little tricky thing we're gonna do, we're gonna make this a plug-in hybrid. What I'm gonna do is put a fuel filler on this side and then mirror it, which is something I've never done before. One will be for fuel and the other one will be for electricity. Hopefully at the fuel station somebody doesn't mix that up, but then again, not everyone's that bright. And with the car and a basic interior done, I think it's about time we already start sending this over to BeamNG. You know, right after I see how fast it can go around the automation test track though, because everything comes down to metrics and performances, and it does a 245. You know what, actually, not horrible for being fairly hefty. Oh, you know, actually, that's quite light. Maybe we should make this heavier, because this thing would be carrying an extra hybrid system with it. So instead of having the aluminium chassis I gave it, I think I'm going to go to steel. Now, what does it say? That basically didn't change at all. That's actually very surprising. All right, well, let's drop the quality of the chassis a bit. 1300 goes to 14. Now to, let's hope this doesn't make it jiggly though. We'll see. Yeah, all right, it's doing a little bit better now. More what I would expect and have it in line with. What does Automation Test Track reckon now that we got 300 kilos now of ballast? It is 252. Okay, that's a little bit more what I expected. The back doesn't look as good as what I'd like, but the rest of it looks fine. And fairly gutless, automatic, 6-speed. Not a whole lot different. Oh, okay. ESC is kicking in a little bit. This thing might be a little bit lively without ESC. Interesting. You can see it kicking in hard trying to save this car. So let's try turning ESC off and see what this thing is really like. Woo! Oh, no, that's right, I'm driving. You know what? Not atrocious, and I gotta say, I thought that they already did the PW update because the map did change a little bit recently, but it does look a lot smoother now. The grass also looks a little bit nicer. There is one thing I've noticed which I'm a little disappointed about, and, well, I suppose I should just show you. Everyone's seen this tunnel, right? It was a rather cool tunnel, like you could wall ride in here, especially if you had a fast enough car, which this thing is not fast enough. You can go right up on the wall there, and you could almost drive the entire way down here, and then out to the other side, which this would just go through here. But they've added this in, which is a bit of a surprise, and a bit of a disappointment, because now it's not really that smooth. Let me show you from this angle with a slightly faster vehicle. Up on the wall ride, and then, oh my god! It's been interrupted. Disappoint. Now, for those of you that may think that I am misremembering what this tunnel was like because I haven't used it probably in a couple of years and this has always been here, well, to you I say, that's actually a valid point. I don't actually know. I just thought that it was always this, like, enclosed. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this was here, though. So, how do we do the hybrid system? Currently, all you would do is just switch out the electric motor, then switch to the electric front motor, and then change the fuel tank to the hybrid battery. And away it goes. Now, the gearing for the electric motors are not great. It does take the final drive of the electric motor, which is not really what you would like to do. And this thing is going to take forever to get up to speed. Apparently, this is something that they're going to look into changing in the next big automation update that will change things for the for the automation exporter to BeamNG. I'm not entirely sure, I can't say for certain, but that is some murmurings that I have heard. But now, how do we combine the two together? Well, that's the magic sauce. Let's start by switching everything back to the normal sort of vehicle. So we're going to get rid of the electric motor controller, back for the petrol one, and then we're going to look into the nomenclature of slots. If we go into our mod, we should have in here the electric motor controller, which is the same engine slot type as the engine slot. All this has to it is the engine structure, which is just the weight stuff, so that's already there. We don't need two of those. The Camso electric motor and another motor. So this is for, like, in case you have a front and a rear drive sort of thing. And then the speed limiter. We don't need that. All we need is just an electric motor. We need one of these. For the rest of this, I don't think we need any of this either. So we're going to get rid of variables for now. The slot type is going to be called Camso. Ooh, what's a slot we could use? I suppose it would work best to see if there's any unused ones. So we got like engine sounds, engine intake, balancing mass, nitrous, which isn't being used yet, engine management, engine structure, internals, turbo, super, turbo again, and super again, which this one is the one that we're using currently. I think we might grab something like the turbo and just kind of use that, since we already got the supercharger. So you can have a turbo, you can have your supercharger, and this is going to be now for our new system. So that's going to be Camso Turbo. Whoop, hold on. There we go. So we can now call upon this. But where do we put this mod, you say? Well, we're going to create a new one. It's going to be Filman 86 Hybrid Automation Adapter. Then there's going to be Vehicles and Common. Save this as, put it in the new directory and call it Hybrid Motor Controller. We should probably also get rid of this. Yeah, I don't need that. And this we can save. And it doesn't look like it's working. Why is he no show-uppy? Oh, I spelled vehicles wrong. And I hate when this glitch happens. I have to restart my entire computer just to be able to change this. All right, we fixed that. We've restarted our computer, all of that. And now if we go in, we have turbocharger mod empty hybrid adapter. Now, if we try to put in the actual motor itself, it's probably probably gonna cause issues. Let's have a look. Front motor does... Yes, okay. We have the petrol motor, but no transmission. Okay, let's see how this works. This is where my mod might fall apart. I might have to make the motor itself completely custom. So if we go in, we have electric motor, and what does it say we got here? For some reason they've got the powertrain as all part of one thing, which is a big issue, because now it's trying to get the drive shafts to interconnect with each other. I suppose what we can do is you can just take this, and in our hybrid motor controller we can create a new part, and we'll call it electric motor rear. This is going to be CAMSO hybrid transmission rear, and we can get rid of slots. We don't need them. And in here, I suppose we would put that hybrid, the powertrain stuff. So for this to work, the only thing you should need to do is come in and remove that one line right there on powertrain for the electric motor, which will be in your directories for your mods, unpacked, whichever vehicle it is that you're working with. For me, it's the Pito hybrid. And then under a code name, basically, it's a hash name or something like that. I don't know exactly what to call it, but yeah, inside of there, the one that's relevant, and an electric motor. It's simple. One line, that's all you need to do. Then in here, we should take from front motor, and we might have a one for the rear as well. And this won't go into front drive shaft, this will go into... Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, we'll go into front... connect... No, wait, this is for the rear. We're gonna take the front motor and put it into the rear because I'm dumb like this. If I had done the all-wheel drive system, I would have had half the amount of power from the electric motor, but this would have been so much easier. I am apparently a masochist. Now, wheel axle, RL and RL, half shafts. Ooh, actually, the input is going to be the rear differential, so it's just rear D in there, and then this is gonna drive the rear. Now, hopefully, this will bypass everything, except I didn't put the slot in. My bad. I'm an idiot, so we're gonna put that, and we're gonna put... Oh, our slot type has to have underscores in there. This is gonna be the slot type. Wait, actually, hold on. You know what? Electric, there we go. Now this can go there, and the default one is actually, you know what, the default's gonna stay blank. And now we have rear, hybrid transmission rear. So that should be driving the rear wheels. The petrol motor does not work. That's an annoyance. Fine, whatever. We should also put the fuel tank slot in here too. I wonder if that'll work having 2 fuel tank slots. I don't know about you, but this seems very default, so maybe what we could do is just grab this entirely. Then, that can also go in here. And make sure to have a comma there. This is going to be changed to CAMSO hybrid, and make another slot. And this automatically pops up, hybrid battery. What are we looking at? Come on. A whole lot of nothing. Poop. Let's bring out the powertrain visualizer, see what's happening. Currently, the petrol motor is in there. That's all good. What we don't have is these connections to the wheels. That's strange. They should be.
Later that night.
I think I've done it. We've got pretty much everything in here. So I did have to go back and do an all-wheel drive version just to make things a lot simpler, which makes it so that you shouldn't have to do any modifications either. Does it work though? Oh, no, it doesn't. I suppose we will put those variables back in, but the only one we want is torque split, and we'll leave regen in there, except it's not going to be called torque split. This is going to be called torque multiplier, power to how much extra torque. There. And maximum can go up to like 10 times, whatever, I don't care. So let's see if this does what I want. I mean, this might actually go bad, I don't remember. Torque multiplier, let's go up to 100% and see what happens. This may or may not work. Oh my god, it does! It really does. Okay, well, there's a slight possibility that 10 times power was not the smart move. But at least we know that it was just a lack of power, because apparently it was only getting 4%, which I don't know how that works. Now we have to do is find out why these are not driving. I'm a little confused. It could be to do with the vehicle controller itself. What if we get rid of this from both sections where it calls upon both things? So we'll go to the rear as well, vehicle controllers, motor names, remove them, and let's see if that fixes the issue. So you may have to modify one little thing, and no, it seems that we're still only getting a rear drive. Oh dear, we're still getting a lot of rear drive, but nothing else. My goodness. What if we get rid of shift logic, since we don't actually need shift logic for this, so we'll get rid of that. That's probably actually what it is. So now if we accelerate, we find... Hey, the petrol motor is actually attached to the front wheels, except it's not shifting gears. Oh, okay, it is shifting gears. It just takes forever to shift. You may want to control this manually. Just those rear tires, just absolutely losing their mind. And then the shifting takes forever, so the shifting has a little bit of an issue. Oh, dear God. All right, well, we now know that it at least works. I wonder if we can undo our changes here and instead take vehicle controller from here. We'll save this quickly. Then back under here for the hybrid transmission, at least for rear, and see if we can put in this section here. So vehicle controller, but have none of that. And let's see if this is, oh, hello. Okay, keyboard. Being funny buggers, are we? This is all good. Okay, refresh this and see if we now have a different vehicle controller type. Okay, well, we've lost our electric motor altogether. Let's try grabbing this one, putting that right here, and clearing away pretty much everything. We don't need anything in here. And then we're gonna grab the speed limiters. That's all we need from you. Put you there, then remove you, and see if it was just maybe like a little bit of a nomenclature error. See if this fixes the issue. So what if we just get rid of shift logic name and shift logic name? Is that all we need to do? Refreshing in here, and what we see is an electric motor. Nice, and as you can see, power is actually coming from the front motor into the wheels. Oh god, this... I really should do something about this. Unfortunately, I can't get this to be completely painless. I suppose I could make a default motor, which you don't need to modify. But if you need to do this, all you need is to go into the repository and download the hybrid automation adapter. Then go into your vehicle, under vehicles, under here. Then one of these will be just a code name, not the engine and code name, just the code name itself for the specific one that you want. Then under electric motor, if we bring that up, then scroll down to where it has, well actually we removed it already, but the part where it says shift logic, that is the one line you'll want to get rid of. Let's go into a normal one so you can see it a little bit better this time. And this is only just a two-wheel drive, which is not the sort you'll want. So electric motor, and then, so you can see specifically the line. I'll put a link to this in, oh sorry, not a link to this, this specific line in the description of the video, so then you know what line to exactly look for. That's the only thing you need to do, just remove that one line, and then you can make a hybrid system. In fact, actually, I don't even think this is required for any electric motor. Especially if there's no gearboxes, this doesn't need to be in the code at all. So maybe Infinity or one of the other devs, could you remove that line maybe, please? That'd be great, thank you. But if it does need to be there, well, maybe I'm just an idiot. You know, there probably is a reason. I think I have run without this before, so I don't know. Now all I want to do is fix whatever the hell this is. We've got half shafts, but then we've got rear diff into rear left. Oh, because now we've got the... Oh, we actually don't need this... Wait, do we even need the... I don't think we need the transmission at all, because now we're running at all-wheel drive. Yeah, I don't think we need this, so we can just probably remove that altogether. Control-S, come back here, refresh, and this should all work without any of that transmission stuff whatsoever. Yes, perfect, works. Fantastic. So, let me run you through this. Spawn in your all-wheel drive vehicle, and then you'll notice, if you have the powertrain visualizer up here, that this thing has an all-wheel drive setup. Not much needs to change. So we're going to go into our tuning menu, the body, under engine, transmission. You're going to change the transfer case to drive just one set of wheels. Currently, we want this to drive the front wheels. This is for the petrol motor. Then, once that's done, the turbo mod, we're going to use the electric motor to turbo this, basically is the kind of the reason why I chose that particular one. Then we're going to go with the rear motor, because that's the one we want. And then we are going to put in the hybrid battery, and which actually I might set that to default turn on. We'll see. We now have both working. Fan-diddly-tastic. You may, however, press V to turn the petrol motor off, and still... Oh, no, hold on. No, that's not right. You know, actually, we could switch this into neutral. So let's just try driving forward. So now it's completely on electric motor. You can see this thing sucks. So what are our options? Well, for one, we do have that torque modifier, which is going to be better for front compared to rear. Yeah, we'll see. Well, I may do something about this in the future. Then, if we go up to here, we can go in and final drive. We're going to change the rear final drive to race final drive. So then we can go in and change this gearing to be incredibly a whole lot shorter. We are currently getting a lot less power to the rear. So if we have a look at that motor controller again, torque multiplier, 4%. I don't understand why 4%. Anyway, if we go to final drive for the rear, I think if we make it a bigger number, it'll give us a less gear ratio. So let's try applying that, and then driving. That's changed a little bit. Okay, yeah, look at this. We got a little bit of pep now. Perfect. So you get the idea. This is not meant to be the be-all and end-all. This is just an assistant motor, basically. I wonder what the top speed is. I should probably fast forward along to that, because this could be here for quite a while. And the acceleration has slowed down considerably. So I think this is a good ratio. I just feel that this could maybe be a bit more powerful. So, oh, nope, that's the wrong button. Home, Control W. We've got the gear ratio set up right. I think we want a little bit more than 4% power though. So we're gonna put this up to maybe like 12% approximately. That's 3 times the amount of power now. And driving that with no petrol motor assistant, you know what? For a hybrid car, that ain't bad. So let's go ahead, stop this. Now, if I want this to be the default, the vehicle to load into, here's a little bit of a trick. I think I've shown it before. This is the default thing. We're not going to click load. We're just going to click on that. Then we're going to click overwrite, but that doesn't overwrite it. Now we go open the config folder, and we need to grab this. And then inside of our mod, just in the root directory, we're going to click and drag that in, and it should ask us to replace. Perfect. Now every single time I spawn this vehicle in, it'll be the way I want it to be. With all of the electric motors and stuff, nice. So now, what is this like going around the automation test track? So I reckon it was a 2-minute 54. I don't think we're going to be a whole lot faster. I'm also not going to have a whole lot of time to really get this set up right. I think we might turn ESC off just for that little bit of extra power. I know ESC is... Oh my god! Okay, maybe that ESC had a benefit, because this thing at the moment really likes to kick out. Hopefully, this mod is going to make life a whole lot easier for everybody. I don't know whether it's going to get approved right off the bat on the BeamNG repository. I will be trying my best. You know what, actually, I might even put it on the repository itself, but on the website for BeamNG, I'll put it under like a forum post sort of thing. So then you guys can have a look in there. You can discuss and all that. And in the future, when people say, hey, this mod doesn't work, everyone can respond with, yes, it does, you're just using it wrong. Which there's been so many times I've made modding tutorial videos, and people have been like, hey, can you update and make a new version of this because this one doesn't work anymore? It's like, nope, it still works. You're just using it wrong. Sorry to tell you, bro. But what's this going to be like at the high-speed cornering? Oh, you know what, actually, okay, now that's fairly smooth. With it going around the, like, parabolica type corner earlier, I was worried that this thing was going to be completely crazy. I don't think I chinned the brakes at all on this vehicle, so that could also be made a little bit better. And now accelerating out of here. Also, if you want to do editing yourself, that one line that I said you need to edit, you can just edit these files in Notepad. You don't need Visual Studio like I have. A lot of people use a free program, which Visual Studio is free, but another free program called Notepad++, which is also free. It just makes life a little bit simpler. If the automation devs like Infinity want to implement this as like some sort of hybrid thing, following kind of my example, I am entirely fine with that. No credit is needed. To have this as like also an option as opposed to just having petrol or electric, that would be fantastic. I would love that. I mean, even if you have to put it as a flag, as a thing kind of like races, or to have a vehicle export by default as electric, like have the exporters splitting up the hybrid system, that would be fantastic. But for now, we are going a lot faster. Now, I know that sometimes the automation test track timer doesn't go great, but I feel that this vehicle will probably be very well set up. Wow, that's like 20 seconds faster. You saw how slow that was, right? It was struggling to go over 110 kilometers an hour. Now, does a 2-minute 35. Maybe not the most elegant lap, but yeah, it did pretty well. For now, I would like to thank my channel members. For the rest of you, I would like to ask that you subscribe and like and all that sort of stuff if you haven't already. But for now, I'll catch you all later. Goodbye. Trying to drive this from cinematic camera is really hard. Where's the corner? I know it's here somewhere. Oh, shit! Fiddlesticks.